I'm very excited.
Quite an extraordinary event.
My 22-year-old son is here with me, who wasn't born when we made this. And, to see a film in this way and to see Sergio's original vision realized is actually very moving to me. I've been thinking about Sergio a lot and how committed he was to this for 10 years to making this work of art. And it was taken away from him. And I feel like in some way there is some divine cinematic justice today that he's gotten it back.
So tell us a little bit about the journey. How did you get involved in this project?
Well, I had done Hair, I had done Prince of the City, and Sergio had seen Prince, and he said, I want Treat Williams to play Jimmy O'Donnell. That's who I want. We had a meeting, we got along, and I played Jimmy O'Donnell. It was pretty straightforward. I wish it were like that these days.
Tell us a little bit about working with Sergio.
It was really, I don't think I'd only been in about 4 or 5 films at this point, but I'd never seen a film. It was like watching someone paint a beautiful painting with a canvas, taking his time. There was no sense of, we got to get this shot, or, we would do take after take, and he would do it so that Tonino, the DP, was happy, Sergio was happy, the actors were happy or exhausted, depending on how many takes we did. But every department I noticed, it was all of these artisans, all of these artists working together to this, to this whole that they were trying to make this extraordinary vision of Sergio's. And only now have I realized how much more he put into it. Before, I didn't realize until a few days ago he had actually been working on it for 10 years. And it was probably the greatest work of art. It was a canvas that he was painting, and he truly was an artist. And I think filmmaking artists, I think financially it's difficult. They're hard to come by now, especially to have the kind of money to shoot something in the scope. Period films are so hard but he did everything right down to the smallest detail. Automobiles, clothing, and I think it shows. It's extraordinary. So,
have you seen this particular?
No, I haven't. I saw the replaced long version, but I haven't seen it digitally remastered. I haven't seen the new scenes. I hope I'm pretty good in them. So I'm really excited about today. I'm actually very emotional about today. It's a big part of my career. Name your 5 best. It's always name your 5. Name your top 5. It's always right there, 1 or 2. So yeah.
So let's talk about your coworkers. You're working with Robert and working with James here.
Well, I was starting out, and Bob was my hero. I wanted to figure out how he did it, and I wanted to figure out a way to be as good as him, or try to be anyway. And James was also already, a well-respected actor. I was one of the new kids in town. So being on set with Bob and learning, not just the way Bob approached his work and the professionalism and preparation he put into it, but also how the guy playing a lead in a movie handles playing the lead in a movie. It was a gift that Bob had early on, was to, I'm a nobody, and Bob says, how you doing? Is your hotel okay? You happy at the hotel? Everything okay? Made sure everybody was comfortable. And the set was it never felt like we were on the set of a Robert De Niro movie, and there already was. This was Bob, Bob's film. But you always felt like Sergio and Bob created an atmosphere of an ensemble film. Everybody was welcome to come in and do the best they could do. You never felt like you were stepping anybody's toes for trying something different. Everybody was just doing their own work, and that's a wonderful thing about being on set with Bob. Was that he was just coming and doing his work. You never had a feeling that, okay, the boss is here, Although when he walks in today, we'll feel that the boss is here. But it was a great experience, and I learned a great deal from Bob and from Sergio. And working with Jim the hardest part of working with Jim is that I couldn't keep a straight face and still can't. But I'll get past that eventually one day.
Just one more question. Did you communicate with Sergio in Italian? Did he communicate with an interpreter?
I had yet to learn to speak Italian. I became somewhat fluent about 5 years later when I went back and did 3 or 4 films right in a row. But I would go to Sergio's house, and he'd open a bottle of wine and tell me stories, and that was one of the greatest things, was spending time with him and sitting at the feet of the master. But no, I spoke almost no Italian at the time. But we all communicated very well somehow. They use their arms and hands a lot, the Italians, so you know what they mean. Thank you.